We're live.
Woo!
You know what that means?
I have a pulse.
It's Tuesday night, and you know what that means?
It's the day before Valentine's Day.
It is. I'm just waiting for this to actually update so I can share this out.
Da, 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 da,
There we go.
da, 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 da. Oh. I was gonna girl from Ipanema.
I got you. I knew what you were going for.
We're not going to Ipanema though.
No, we're not.
But
hello and welcome to this week's edition of Willing Snackrifice. I'm Mike.
And I'm Liz.
And we're back for another episode. And you're wanting to get started on that. You know where we are headed tonight, honey?
Where?
We're headed to Scandinavia.
Yay! Randy Scandies.
Universal Yums presents Scandinavia.
Presents Giant Wolves.
Yes. So this ought to be a pretty good one, I think.
Away we go to Scandinavia.
We did discover one thing in prepping this episode, so stay tuned for that. It's something that's a little unfortunate. It happens. We're not we love Universal Yums. We'll complain a little bit, but it's not really, I don't think it's their fault. I don't think.
No, it's just a transportation.
Shit happens, right?
Yeah, got jostled.
Huh.
So hello from Scandinavia. Get ready to explore not one, not two, but 6 countries. We're hopping on our Viking ship to see the Scandinavian peninsula, Sweden, Norway, and Denmark, and the surrounding Nordic countries and territories, Iceland, Finland, and Greenland. The countries in this region have a shared history, but enough cultural diversity to make each stop new and exciting. Ready to embark on this month's voyage?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Cool. And on the cover was obviously, if you're into Norse mythology, it's supposed to be Fenrir.
And as always, they have their lovely sticker pack that you get with a little stamp with, what is that? What kind of bird is that, honey? Is that
Looks like a puffin.
A puffin?
I think.
And then you get the little flag and then a flower and then the stickers that you're supposed to use for like rating the snacks, which we just do number grades. 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. We allow for fractions or percent, decimals.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Imaginary numbers.
Absolutely.
So before we get to Scandinavia, since we both have a beverage this evening, it's not a Scandinavian beverage, but what are you drinking to go along with our Snackrifice this evening, my dear?
I don't know if it necessarily pairs, but what I have tonight is from a New York State brewery. It's Tin Barn Brewing. They have 2 locations, one in the Hudson Valley and one in the lovely Finger Lakes region. It is their Sprocket, which is a New England double IPA. It checks in at 8.5%. I was going to see if it has the hop varietals on there. It doesn't, but it's delicious. If you love the hops, this is a lovely beer to get. You can get them locally at, if you're in Rochester, there's a little beer shop on Ridgeway Avenue called One Stop Brew Shop, and they are now stocking Tin Barn beers.
Cool.
So a little pimp to a different beer store than our favorite one, which is
AJ's Beer Warehouse.
What is it?
AJ's Beer Warehouse?
What's the address?
I don't know.
175 Clay Road.
Of course you know that. And for once, I am actually joining you in the adult beverage arena.
This one also came from One Stop.
It is in honor of Valentine's Day for me. It is a Blood of the Smooge.
It's from Imprint Beer Company.
Out of Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
And it is a smoothie style sour with blackberry, raspberry, cherry, black currant, and vanilla. It's very thick. It's like a smoothie. It's like a fruit smoothie, like alcoholic fruit smoothie.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, that's really what it is. It's a trend that's existed for a couple of years now in beers, and you could see the thickness of that beer, and then like the lacing up at the top of the glass. it very much like sticks to the outside of the glass.
Much like a smoothie would.
Yeah, it's a very different kind of beer.
It's thick like a smoothie. It's essentially just a fermented fruit smoothie.
Yeah,
They call it a beer. In my mind, it's not. It's more fruit than beer.
right.
It's very enjoyable. Tastes a lot like raspberries and vanilla. I'm liking it. But let's go to Scandinavia.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's see where we start. Want to start on the trivia train?
Yeah, let's do it.
What is the most popular souvenir in Sweden? A pine cone, a clock, moose crossing warning sign, or nail clippers?
I am going to go with a moose crossing.
It is. The moose crossing warning sign, commonly seen along roads in Sweden, is the most popular souvenir. Many of the signs disappear on lightly trafficked roads where tourists can unscrew the signs without being seen. That's pretty annoying to the local authorities, as there are about 400,000 moose in Sweden, the densest population in the world.
I mean, it's got to be something though. Like when you leave the country, maybe by air, and maybe they go through your luggage and they find a giant moose crossing sign within your suitcase.
But how do they know you didn't buy it? You're a tourist. They sell them.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So
Kinda
if
shitty.
you go, just buy one. Don't steal one.
Yeah.
Our first snack is a potato snack.
Okay.
So it is a tomato and spice potato snack. Super crispy, cheesy, with an acidic tang. Back in the 19th century, getting a snack like this together would have required a lot of Danish spice traders. Cayenne, garlic, and paprika. There are a lot of spices in this snack. The wording is a little weird on this. Because of their extensive travels, Danish spice traders often remained unmarried, earning the nickname Peppersvens, or pepper dudes, basically bachelors. Today, this bit of history has spawned a spicy tradition. If a Dane is single on their 25th birthday, their friends will tie them up and coat them in cinnamon. If they are still single on their 30th birthday, they're doused with pepper. We'd probably opt out if we had the choice. Think of the sneezing. Unless these uber popular cracker chips were involved.
So these are Kim's snack chips. This packaging is a little weird in that like everything is completely flat except for like this.
There's like no air in there to hold it open.
That's weird. So we'll see what we end up with. We had another packaging issue with this box, so we'll see how these are. They smell good. They look like that.
They're not chips. They're not like real potatoes. They've probably been mashed and extruded like a Pringle. They're crunchy. As I'm sure everybody can hear. For you ASMR people. I get the paprika. And a little bit of the tomato.
Yeah.
But they're not spicy, so I don't really get any cayenne. I mean, big on crunch, though. Whoa, crunch.
They have like a little bit of a bite, but otherwise
They're good.
otherwise you get like quite a bit of tomato. I like them.
I do too.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. I mean, they're not anything like extraordinary, but they're good. They're good for what they are.
And it's not like ketchup tomato. I don't get like any vinegar tanginess
No, not
off
at
of
all.
them.
No.
It's very like tomato paste. Tomato. Because I don't hate them. I probably wouldn't. And they're also not very salty for a chip.
No.
They're they're not bland. I mean, they've got a lot of flavor, but they're just not my thing. I think I don't hate them. I'd probably give them a 2.5.
I was going to go 3.5 on them.
I'm gonna hit you with another trivia question.
Okay.
Which of the following is a real holiday in Finland? International Day of Failure, Night of the Radishes, Picnic Day, or Mountain Day?
Let's go with Night of the Radishes.
You'd think. I would eat. I like radish. It's actually International Day of Failure.
Oh, I was going to guess that one too.
Mark October 13th on your calendars and get ready to fail. Finland's International Day of Failure was started in 2010 by university students who believed that failure was frowned upon in Finnish culture, thus stifling innovation. The holiday of failing has unfortunately found success. It has now spread to 17 countries and received a rousing shout out from the creator of Angry Birds.
I heard they also call it Mike Day.
Mike Day, you're not a failure.
Just kidding.
No fail.
Yeah, I didn't know that was
No
coming,
fail.
right?
No fail, husband. Our next snack is a cocoa-filled oat cookie. Crispy cookies with a rich chocolatey center. This story might sound like a Hans Christian Andersen tale, but it's real. In 1864, Karen Wolf was born in a tiny village in Denmark. As a teen, she worked as a kitchen manager, developing her skills as a chef and businesswoman. By age 26, she saved enough money to fulfill her dream, opening a bakery. Her treats soon won over Copenhagen societies, her business exploded, and Karen Wolf became a household name. The best part? Her happily ever after is a happily ever after for us too. 150 years later, we still get to savor her crispy chocolate-filled cookies.
So as soon as I looked at this packaging and I saw that name, Karen Wolf, I was like, that sounds very familiar. And then I saw the logo and I was like, we've had stuff from
her
Karen Wolf before.
From them. I'm sure she's not still alive.
Well, yeah, it just said 150 years. I was kind of giving her the benefit of the doubt, but yeah, she's probably not around anymore. But, you know, I'm just trying to be.
She might have found the secret of longevity in making cookies.
Maybe oat cookies with chocolate, with cocoa filling. They're baked in Denmark since 1890. So, yeah, she's probably not around anymore.
She might have kicked it.
Yeah. Props to you, Karen, if you're still around. These cookies are filled with the spirit of Karen.
Like her ashes and stuff? You sprinkle a little bit of her remains. Oh, that's just morbid.
In each batch.
In each batch. They can't make any more. They've run out of Karen.
Oh, that looks good.
I mean, it looks like homemade.
Are these supposed to be like 2 cookies, or is that like... I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's 2 because it says they're filled.
I don't know.
They smell kind of like an oatmeal cookie.
Well, maybe if I'm gonna slide that back in. Servings per container, 4.
Yeah, it's a double decker.
Yeah.
Look how. I'm waiting for you because I'm getting a weird flavor.
I'm thinking that perhaps Karen was Catholic because I'm getting some communion wafer vibes.
I taste fish, like fish oil. Do you taste it?
Maybe that was why I was thinking communion wafer. I don't know. A little bit, yeah. So Liz was saying, she said it very quietly, but she was saying that maybe they taste like fish a little bit.
Like
I don't see anything like that.
Like
on
the oil that you have fried fish in. Just faintly.
The aftertaste is weird.
I'm going to finish it, but I'm not going to eat another one. They look like they would be really good. They don't taste like anything. They're barely
But
sweet.
they oddly do. Like, they don't taste like chocolate or oatmeal.
And they're barely sweet.
But they have like a really odd, weird aftertaste. Not really enjoyable at all.
No, I'm sorry, Karen.
Karen, I think I need to speak to the manager and talk about these cookies because they're very unpleasant. I'm gonna go with a 1.
Yeah, I'd agree. My my smoothie has froth.
Yeah, that's just yeah.
I'm just getting the taste out of my mouth.
Gosh, yeah. I think we've had other stuff from that brand though,
And it wasn't awful.
and they weren't horrible. Those were bad.
Yeah, don't like it.
Like there's still 2 cookies left in that package.
Oh, I throw them out.
I don't know that I would even eat them tomorrow. Like,
Let's throw them away.
Yeah.
And it's disappointing. Not just because you got the snack box and you'd like to like everything, but the description of it sounds fantastic. Oatmeal cookie with a chocolate filling in the center. Sounds good. No.
Yeah, I mean, there used to be oddly enough, a pizzeria in this area that we would go for lunch from work, and I would always get a cookie for dessert, and you could get like pizza by the slice. But they had it was called a Nutty Odie cookie, and it was a oatmeal, like a soft oatmeal cookie with chocolate chips, and it was so delicious. So like anytime I have like an oatmeal cookie with chocolate, it's kind of held up against that cookie and the remembering that cookie. Sadly, that place does not exist anymore. So that cookie doesn't exist anymore, but like the memory of that cookie still exists. And so I can't help but like hold that memory in and hold that the Karen Wolf cookie up against that. And it doesn't even measure up. It's not even on the same scale or even in the same planet. But God, yeah, that's just not a pleasant cookie experience at all.
And I was more along the lines of hoping. I knew it was going to be a crispy cookie because America is pretty much
And that's fine.
The gold, standard for soft cookies, but everybody else likes their biscuits crisp. And that's fine. And I have had crisp oatmeal cookies.
Right. Yeah.
So I was thinking, crispy oatmeal cookie with a little yummy chocolate in the middle. That should be good. And while it may not be up to the soft, Nutty Odie standard,
right,
it might have those flavors. But
the
crunchy.
Flavor doesn't measure up.
It doesn't even measure up to like a Chips Ahoy.
Right.
And that's like
yeah.
Badness.
Karen.
Geez.
Definitely need to speak to the manager. Yes, I know I've done the joke twice, but it deserves it.
It deserves it. We're going to go back to Savoryville and have a dill and chive potato chip. So this should actually be a potato chip instead of a potato crisp or like a extruded potato snack. Scandinavia's favorite flavor. Have you ever smelled or tasted a spice and immediately associated it with a particular cuisine? For India, it might be cumin, or perhaps tangy mustard seeds make you think of Germany. But across Scandinavia, and particularly in Sweden, dill is the herb that immediately makes you think, yes, this is Scandinavian food. From tangy pickled herring to garnishes for cured salmon, this distinctive herb makes an appearance in more dishes than we can count. It's no surprise that locals crave the herb so much that they have added it to crunchy snacks like these potato chips as well. Take a taste and you'll be just as obsessed.
So I didn't hold the package up yet, but it's not dill and chive as you said. It's dill and grasslock.
Like a good grass lock on my salad.
Don't you?
I like grass lock and tuna fish and a little sprinkle of grass lock on my soup. Do they smell like grass lock?
Yeah, sure.
They smell like dill. I smell the dill. They're regular chips. I mean, well, they're wavy chips, but I can see the herbs. Oh, good. They're like a sour cream and onion chip with the extra bonus of dill. Mike is dropping his on the floor.
Very dill forward.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of dill.
And these are actually salty.
Yeah, I don't even know if I dropped any more. I'm just looking. But yeah.
Those are good. As I chew with my mouth on. I would buy them. I don't think they'd be my favorite. They wouldn't be my first choice. My first choice is pretty much always going to be salt and vinegar. But these would be they're out of salt and vinegar choice because they're onion.
Yeah.
So probably give them a 4.
I'm with you on that. They're easily the best snack we've had thus far.
Poor Scandinavia.
I mean, I'm just being honest. I mean, the tomato and the spicy tomato chips were good. I like those. These were better. Those cookies were horrible. I mean, that's out of 3 snacks. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. It's common for Icelandic homes to have A, grass roots, B, golden chimneys, C, steel doors, or D, plastic windows.
Steel doors.
Well, grass roofs. Before we get to the bottom...
You know what I thought you said? Wait, did you say roofs or roots?
Roofs.
Oh, at first I thought you said roots, and I was like...
Well, I said roofs because in American English, the plural of roofs, I think, is roofs, isn't it?
I say roofs.
You say roofs?
Roofs.
Hmm.
This is the roof podcast. Roofed podcast.
Before we get to the bottom of this surprising fact, we need to mention one unsurprising fact. Iceland is cold, with winter temperatures dipping as low as minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit. Early Icelandic settlers had to get extra creative with insulating their homes. Their medium of choice? Grass. Original turf homes were completely covered with grass except for the door. Modern versions are partially covered, mainly on the roof. Talk about living green. I'd be like bugs. There's bugs on the roof.
I'm sure that as long as they've been around, they have figured out a way around that.
Or they just don't mind the bugs.
Or they've figured out a way around that.
So I think this is going to go well with my beer or my drink. Our next snack is raspberry gummy skulls. Sweet, sour, and super chewy. In Sweden, citizens have the right to roam, meaning they can legally walk, hike, swim, and most importantly, pick berries on any land, public or private. Locals take full advantage of this policy, spending hours combing Sweden's dense forests for fresh berries, from tart blueberries, a favorite of the Scandinavian brown bear, to super sour lingonberries, to sweet orange cloudberries. The most coveted variety, wild raspberries. With these juicy, chewy raspberry gummies, we're granting your taste buds the right to roam the Swedish forest of candy. Do they look like skulls?
I mean, I don't think so, but
It's the skull and crossbones. It looks like the rounded part goes on top.
yeah, I guess if you squint. They don't smell like anything, really. Okay, so they're like a very hard chew.
Mm-hmm. They're not soft. They tried on the sour. They put the small amount of the stuff that's on the outside of a Sour Patch Kid on it, but the inside is not sour at all.
Yeah, you
And-
get that initial like sour hit,
Have another one?
and it hits you. They almost.
I'm going for the raspberry. It might not be the drink that I'm having is very raspberry forward. So this compared to that.
Well, I'll give you an assessment without having anything raspberry. I'm not so much getting a raspberry flavor as I'm getting like a chewing gum flavor.
Yeah. Like either a generic berry, like berry flavor.
Well, slight berry flavor, but then like almost like original like
bubble
yum.
gum.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting. You get that initial hit of the sour, then once you get through that, it's almost like chewing gum flavor.
They're not terrible. I would have liked them more when I was a kid. As an adult, I probably wouldn't reach for them. And I like gummy candies.
Yeah, I mean they're not horrible. They're just
if I was in Sweden,
kind of so.
I think these were Swedish, right? Yes. If I was in Sweden and I was craving Sour Patch Kids and I could not find them, these would be an acceptable substitute. Not as good, but acceptable. So I'd probably give them a 3.
That's what I put down for myself. I think at this stage we're so like
our taste buds like synced.
Yes.
There's a few things where you like it and I don't, or vice versa. Yeah. In 2008, Norway knighted a blank. Penguin, tiger, boar, or Arctic fox.
Let's go Pens.
You are correct. The story of how Norway came to knight a penguin goes back to 1972, when Norwegian Lieutenant Niles England visited the Edinburgh Zoo in Scotland. He arranged for the Norwegian King's Guard to adopt one of their king penguins as a mascot. The cute critter has since moved up the ranks, achieving knighthood in 2008, and a promotion to brigadier in 2016. In fact, he now outranks the original lieutenant who started it all. I'm like, is it the same penguin? Because that's a really old penguin. I didn't even care
what the answer was. You knew I was going to select penguins.
Let's go Pen. Our next thing comes from our Yum Bag, and it is a chocolate cookie dough ball. I feel like we've had some of these.
Upside down.
I feel like we've had some of these before.
It looks like there's a whole series of them in this Yum Bag.
Yeah. Or else we've had something like these before. Creamy Swedish cookie dough filling. Yum. Get this. The delicious cookie dough filled chocolate ball you're holding in your palm.
Hold on. That's not it.
In my palm.
Hold on.
In my palm.
Hold on. I got to make sure I give you the right one.
In my palm.
Oh, geez.
Originally,
so demanding here.
Originally started off as a honey capsule. What's a honey capsule? Well, no one knows because their founder, Carl Prinzel, quickly realized that they were a bust, a true pioneer of the International Day of Failure. Soon after, he began making small plastic packets of hazelnut cream, which eventually turned into hazelnut cream-filled balls, which he turned into these cookie dough filled balls 100 years later. He did 100 years later?
I heard him and Karen Wolf were a thing.
Yeah, the two of them. Just
in my palm too.
in his palm too. So it's basically
him and Karen Wolf were an item back in the day.
They just kept going and going and going and living. It's basically like a Lindt truffle. On the outside is just a chocolate ball.
It doesn't smell much like anything.
So here's my mental mistake. In my head, when I think cookie dough, I think chocolate chip cookie dough. The inside of this tastes like speculoos, which is good. I like speculoos.
Yeah.
But it tastes like speculoos, not chocolate chip cookie dough, which is fine.
Like I'm getting like cinnamon spice.
Yeah. It's speculoos inside or cookie butter, if you want to call it.
Yeah. That's actually, those are actually really good.
They are good.
I
wouldn't kick those out of bed.
No, those are actually really tasty. The chocolate isn't much.
It's not like super chocolatey. It's more just sweet.
Right. But once you get to that filling, that's the champion of that snack.
Yeah, it's essentially cookie butter filling.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good snack. I'm gonna go 4.25.
I would go 4. I would like the chocolate to be more pronounced, to have more chocolatiness to it. It's not bad chocolate. It was creamy, but I don't think there was much like cacao to it. Cacao. There wasn't much cacao to it. Sounds like a bird, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
So it didn't have like a chocolatey, really, really chocolatey taste to stand up against the cookie butter filling. We'll just move on to our next one because it is also from our Yum bag, and I am excited about this one. This is a gingerbread toffee. Paprika's cola is what it says in the book. Not just suddenly speaking in tongues. When it comes to gingerbread, the U.S. and Sweden have a lot in common. Swedish gingerbread, locally known as pepparkakor.
Maybe you are speaking in
I
tongues.
am speaking in tongues. Is a traditional holiday treat considered essential at Christmas parties. And just like in the U.S., the spice cookies are commonly used to construct elaborately delicious gingerbread houses. I'm not even going to say the name of them. There is one gingerbread tradition that sets Sweden apart from the U.S., and you're holding it.
Oh my gosh, she's so demanding.
Locally referred to as knack. I'm saying the silent K in the front just in case. This chewy toffee is infused with all of the festive flavor of pepparkaker, whatever. No baking required.
Yeah.
So it is a gingerbread toffee. And I love my gingerbread.
It feels like a hard candy toffee type thing.
Doesn't smell like anything. Smells like paper. It's hard. It's going to be a while. Most boring video podcast ever. Mike and Liz chew. So, it has...
We lost our one viewer upon the chewing.
Fast forward. It has the
I feel like Universal Yums like gave us this snack and said, let's see what these guys. I almost said a bad word. Let's see what they do with this one on their live stream.
Let's see what these idiots do. It's the consistency of a milk dud, the inside of a milk dud, or a sugar baby.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
It's got a little bit of gingerbread, but not a lot.
I don't know.
I was expecting more.
Forward.
I was expecting more of a punch, more spice.
I think it's not as much spice, but I thought it was very gingerbready.
It was. It just needs to be spicier.
Okay.
I need more ginger.
You're chasing
more black pepper.
You're chasing the gingerbread dragon.
I am chasing the gingerbread dragon. That's my code name.
It was good. I liked it. Maybe not my go-to snack or yum. I'd go with 3 on that.
I'd probably go with 3.5. I liked it. So if you watch a previous box that we did, I think from Poland, Germany, maybe, the one that had the gingerbread Pocky. There were like bread, like Pockies only.
Oh, that was the last episode.
Was that Poland?
Yeah, I think it was Poland. Yeah,
I just ate those today, and they were very gingerbready, and they had more spice than this. This had a gingerbread flavor, but it wasn't as spicy as I would like it to be. I like it spicy. Next. The Icelandic language is unique because it A, contains over 100 letters, B, hasn't changed for 1,000 years, C, has 15 silent letters, or D, was nearly considered a dead language.
I'm going to go with C.
The answer is B. It hasn't changed for 1,000 years.
Well,
in most places, language evolves over time, which is why reading works written in older English can be so challenging. But for native Icelandic speakers, reading the Old Norse language is absolutely possible. While some spellings have changed a little bit over the years, the average Icelandic speaker can, with varying amounts of time, decipher ancient texts. That's pretty neat. Now we get to a troublesome incident in our box.
Yep.
We did have, or do have, jalapeno pepper popcorn, spiced with seasoning from central Denmark. You know, where jalapenos come from. We have a wonderful man named Klaus Pilgaard, a.k.a. Chili Klaus, to thank for this wonderful yum. In the early 2000s, Danish-born Klaus Pilgaard first tasted spicy food as a university student in London. It took him nearly 20 years to try some heat because in Denmark, spicy food isn't so common. He was so excited about spice that he began growing his own chili peppers, then making videos sharing his violently spicy peppers with Danish celebrities. Since then, spice has slowly crept into Danish cuisine and popcorn.
I feel like I've heard this story about this guy before.
I've heard of Chili Klaus before.
Yeah.
It's like Santa Claus, but Chili Klaus.
Yeah. So the unfortunate thing that happened is I was prepping the box, and I always put the snacks in order of what they're going to be in the book. And when I grabbed this bag, I discovered that the bag was already open, and what would you call it? Kernels of popcorn
detritus
came out of the bag, and the bag was already opened. Not by me doing it, mind you. It was already open. So we do have the jalapeno popcorn. Sadly, it is stale because
Can I smell it?
You can try some. It's going to be stale, though. There's tons of jalapeno flavor. Very vegetal.
Yeah. Not like just, oh, it's hot, because it's not hot. But you get definitely that this was a vegetable seasoning on here, and then it was
I mean,
spicy jalapeno.
I would have loved to try this fresh.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the bag was open.
Yeah.
We're not going to fault Universal Yums for that.
I think this doesn't get a grade because it just, we can't taste it.
It's got a lot of promise.
It does, but we can't really give it
No.
a fair grading.
And I mean, it feels like like if you feel like this part, it feels like the glue was maybe failed.
So this is a scratch.
Yeah. Like I would have loved to have tried this one like fresh because I think it would have been very interesting.
I wonder if we contact Universal Yums and say this was open when we get our box, can we have a spare? They might send it to us. But yeah, so unfortunate jalapeno popcorn incident.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if I go.
I'm a little worried about eating a bag of open food that went through the postal service.
I mean, I've already eaten like 5 pieces of it.
Stay tuned for the 911 call that Liz has to make at the end of this video. So let's go on to the next snack here. It's a rum icing coated cookie. Crumbly cookies with decadent rum flavor. In Denmark, sweets are practically a national pastime. In fact, it's likely you've already tasted Danish cookies without even realizing it. You know those big tins of butter cookies you see during the holidays or in your grandmother's house? The tin that should be full of cookies but is actually full of sewing supplies? Those are Danish butter cookies. Personally, we think those cookies iced with delightful and alcohol-free rum flavor are even better. And don't worry, you won't find your grandma's sewing kit in this box. But who are they from?
So, Karen.
Oh, Karen.
Karen Wolf strikes again with the bite-sized cookies with rum-flavored icing. Will these be better than the oat cookies? That is the question.
I mean, they're butter cookies, so what could go wrong?
I don't know. They're 150 years old.
The cookies themselves?
Maybe. They're sealed up better than the popcorn.
If you've been to Scandinavia or Scandinavian, do people really eat these cookies?
Is Karen Wolf a thing?
Are they just trying to? This is 2. I don't want 2. There's more one.
They smell good.
They smell like rum butter cookies. They're good. I think I'd like the cookie better without the rum frosting.
I can get behind these.
Yeah. They're crumbly. Butter cookie, shortbread consistency. Yeah. I just don't know how I feel about the frosting. Because it's...
Okay, yeah. So the frosting's really not needed. It adds like almost like a textural type thing.
Yeah.
But the vibe I get from those is pecan sandies.
Yeah.
A little bit. But like almost a little softer.
Mm-hmm. Crumblier.
But these are good. Like the finish is it's really nice.
It's pleasant. It's like not overpowering, not sickening sweet. The texture, I like the texture, that crumbly shortbread texture.
They don't leave that weird film on your mouth either. Like sometimes you get that from shortbread cookies.
Yeah, the butter basically coming out of the shortbread just coats your mouth.
So I'm gonna, hey Karen, I mean you did a good job.
You did a good job with the butter cookies.
You did an excellent job with these.
Crumblies all over myself.
Props.
So I would probably give those I'm going to take off for the rum. I think they don't need it. I don't particularly like the fake rum flavor. If it was real rum flavor, maybe. But because it tastes fake, I'm going to give them a 3.75.
I hear you. I hear you on that. I'm pretty much right in line with you. I was gonna go 4. Not my favorite yum of the box thus far, but up there.
Up there.
They're good.
Up there. A whopping 88% of Greenland's population is A, indigenous, B, foreign, C, descended from Odin, or D, Danish.
I'm gonna go descended from Odin. C.
Know who Odin is?
Is it?
He's a Norse god. He's mythological. How can they be descended from a myth?
You never know.
They are indigenous. That's right. The vast majority of Greenland's population is indigenous, or more specifically, Inuit, Tunumit, not Tunamelt, Tunumit, Tunumit, and Kalalit. 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 There's a lot of A's and L's. Each group of peoples have their own unique language that many of them also speak Danish, and Danes make up the remaining 12% of the population. While these people maintain a respect for their ancient culture and heritage, they live much the same way as the rest of the world. And we are going back to the yum bag for browned butter truffles. I have crumbs on. Meet Sweden's secret ingredient. The secret spice that makes all food delicious, all Swedish food delicious, isn't a spice at all. And if you haven't already guessed by the name of this yum, we'll tell you now. It's brown butter. By gently simmering it, the ingredient lightly caramelizes, creating a warm, nutty, decadent flavor that goes amazingly in sauces, in Swedish meatballs, baked into cookies, and transformed into luscious chocolate truffles like this.
I was really disappointed.
There was no in my palm. There was no in my palm.
I was ready. I was gearing up for it.
There was no you are holding. There is no in my palm. The third time they didn't do it.
I was prepped
You
for
were
it
prepped.
that time.
Choco. Noosh. 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 Is that a neck? Something.
I'm gonna hold on. All right, I'm gonna
Knack. Knuck. Knack. Choco knack. Knock.
see if I can do that better.
So I think the same people who make the truffle, the cookie butter truffle, make this one. It's about the same chocolate, which means it's not very chocolatey chocolate. Creamy, but not.
This one almost seems better.
Mm-mm. I don't like the inside. The inside is gritty.
I thought it was smooth.
Mine is gritty. Mine is like crystals. I like the other one better. This one wasn't bad. This was sweeter. I like the cinnamon of the other one better. This was like the other one without the cinnamon. I'd probably give that a 2.75.
Wow, you went much lower.
Not a big fan. Wouldn't reach for it. Too sweet. What did you give it?
I give it a 4.5.
Wow.
Yeah, I like that better than the cookie dough one.
Surprisingly, Sweden needs to rely on Norway for A, mail delivery, B, garbage delivery, C, garbage disposal, or D, food imports.
Let's just go with garbage delivery because I mean, it's the weirdest fucking answer. Well,
And you're right.
I dropped the F bomb with the episode, but it's
One country's trash is another's energy supply.
oh
For years, Sweden has been a leader in recycling and alternative energy. In fact, only 1% of Swedish trash ends up in landfills, and with the rest either being recycled or burned for energy. And their recycling program is so good that they actually don't have enough trash to burn in their power plants.
Huh.
That's why they made a deal with their Norwegian neighbors. Norway loses their trash, Sweden gets power. The deal may be about garbage, but it's anything but.
cool.
Dedicated to not filling up the landfills. Our next one is a raspberry-filled dark chocolate bar with Danish jammy filling for max indulgence. Danes love their raspberries. They love them in Hindbærsnitter. Snitter. A mouthful of a word, but basically a fancy Pop-Tart. They love them in cold pudding. Grod, midflood. Grod, midflood. You read it, Mr. Giggles.
I can't even.
What? You read it. Start from the beginning. You try your hand at freaking Danish. Mocking me. My attempts.
That wasn't mocking you. It was funny.
Hit it, Chewy. Punch it, Chewy.
Oh, jeez. I can't even.
You have to prepare your eyeballs.
They're a little wet right now from laughing at you.
I live to serve.
Danes love their raspberries. They love them in Hindbærsnitter, a mouthful of a word, but basically a fancy Pop-Tart. They love them in cold pudding, Grod med food. They love them in fluffy layer cakes, Donks lekkage. But they especially love them in chocolate. This chocolate-covered raspberry jelly is mirror-like on the inside. So mirror-like.
Mirror?
Mirror. Like mirror, what you would look in.
Mirror.
Mirror. To like put on your
You literally
makeup.
sound like you're saying mirror, like the word MEER. Like a meerkat.
Mirror.
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 It's a mirror. I gotta go look in the mirror. Anyway. You did fine with the Danish, but the English you messed up. Mirror.
This chocolate-covered raspberry jelly is mirror-like on the inside. So shiny it's almost too pretty to eat. Almost. That's one sentence. Almost. A one-word sentence. You should easily be able to adopt the position of the Danes and polish off this raspberry confection in no time.
It smells good.
Oh, that's like some dark chocolate goodness. Do we have some mirror-like? It does look a little glistening there. Can we get that on the camera?
No.
I think we can. There's like a little, you see that little glint there? That is the shininess. You know what this reminds me of?
No.
You really don't?
No.
Do you remember in the last episode we had those chocolate covered jelly things?
And we had them in the Deutsche Koich.
Yeah, those two, but they were in the Yum bag. They were like rectangular, and there was just different fruit flavors.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is. That's what that reminds me of.
You can eat the rest of it. I'm not that big of a fan.
It's okay. It's weird because like the chocolate, like it smells good. You get a little bit of it, but like you want more of the chocolate. Instead, you get a lot of the jelly.
And it's very jelly. It's like
it's a very thin layer of chocolate.
And it's very like we're not talking like gummy bear jelly. This is like chuckles jelly. Were those chuckles?
It was. It's weird. It's very gelatinous.
Mm-hmm. I'd probably give those a 2.5.
That's just so to me.
Yeah.
Like you expect more. You have like when you smell it, you're like, oh, dark chocolate. This is gonna be really good. And then you kind of start eating, and you're like, no. And really, it was almost similar to that Yum bag snack.
Yeah.
So like your 2.5, I think, is spot on.
Last trivia. In Finland, pregnant mothers can expect from the government A, a crib, B, baby clothes, C, diapers, D, toys.
D, toys.
Trick question. All of the above.
Wow.
Since 1938, expecting Finnish mothers have been entitled to receive their very own maternity box, which comes complete with diapers, clothing, bedding, and toys. And the box it comes in is padded so that it can be used as a crib. While the program was originally intended for low-income families, it was opened up to everyone just 9 years after the program started. Thanks in part to this government program, Finland now has one of the lowest infant mortality rates of the whole
Could you
world.
imagine, like, trick question? None of them.
They get nothing.
They get nothing.
No, but they, the crib is so, like the box crib is so safe.
Yeah.
Because, people aren't co-sleeping and rolling over on their kids or putting them in unsafe cribs or potentially with unsafe bedding. It's all tested by the government and they just, they thrive. It's a good thing.
Can you imagine? Damn it, you're not fitting in the box. Come on, you gotta stay in the box.
They'd have to give you guys, the Crandall babies would have had to get the XL box. So our last thing from Universal Yums on this is not a snack. It's a game called Nav, or Gnav, if you pronounce the G. Play one of Scandinavia's oldest games. Get ready to hop into the time machine because we're headed to the 1820s. Maybe we'll meet Karen Wolf. If you were a Danish or Norwegian sailor in those days, odds you'd be passing the time with a game called Nav. Traditionally played with either a deck of cards or a set of wooden pieces, this game is part luck, part strategy, and can be played with up to 10 people. While the game has fallen out of popularity in modern times, playing a round or two of Nav will instantly transport you back in time and give you a great idea how people once had fun in Scandinavia.
So I'll give you a little Nav game.
We're not going to take it out and play it right now because we'd have to read the instructions, and watching people read instructions to play a game in a live is probably really dull. But I did want to say that there's a recipe on here that I would try. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Should I try to pronounce it?
So should you force me to?
More bread grindy. More bread grindy? More bread grindy. More bread grindy. I don't know where the syllables. I don't know where to put the emphasis.
More bread agreed.
There's nothing between Brad and Greed. It's not Brad Doug Greed. It's more.
More Brad agreed.
No, you're
More
putting it
Brad agreed.
more Brad Greed.
More Brad agreed.
Greed.
More Brad agreed.
Mar, whatever.
More Brad gride.
Danish pork stew. And it's essentially got 1 pound of pork tenderloin cut into cubes, 5 strips of bacon sliced into half-inch pieces, a 1/4 cup of mushrooms, a 1/4 cup of cocktail wieners, 1 14-ounce can of chopped tomatoes, 2 medium onions finely chopped, 3 carrots peeled and finely chopped, 1 cup of heavy cream, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of thyme, 1 teaspoon of salt and black pepper to taste. In a large saucepan or stock pot, fry the bacon, onions, carrots, and mushrooms for 2 minutes. Once the bacon has begun to crisp, add the pork and cocktail wieners. Continue to cook for another 2 minutes. Add the canned tomatoes, undrained, heavy cream, and seasonings. Reduce to a simmer and cook uncovered for 40 minutes. Enjoy. My tip would be don't add the cream until the end. Don't simmer cream. Blech. Our favorite way to enjoy this is on a dish of warm white rice or fluffy mashed potatoes. It tastes even better the next day. So it sounds like a regular stew, but made with pork and cocktail wieners, which is a different thing. But I would try it. Would you eat it?
I'll try it.
I'd be like, hey, I made that Morber guide. You'd be like, bless you. So how did we do? How did Scandinavia do this time around?
All right. So, I mean, we definitely have a clear-cut least favorite snack of the night. That is no question whatsoever.
Karen.
Karen.
That's disappointing because oats and oatmeal cookies and chocolate shouldn't be the least favorite thing in a box.
Yeah. So, Karen Wolf, your original oat cookies with the cocoa
and
filling.
Fish oil.
There's something there.
I wonder if it's got
I looked.
No, I'm wondering
The leavening?
No, I'm wondering if the vegetable oils, because it's palm, canola, palm kernel, and shea. And I'm just wondering if maybe one of the oils was rancid or something. I mean, it's not expired. This has got a best if used by May 2024. So it's not expired. It's not been kept in a hot place. But I wonder if something in it, maybe the oil, we're not familiar with eating. I don't know that we've ever eaten shea oil. Maybe it's called something different.
I don't know.
But something about it is, I've used shea oil or shea butter, and it doesn't smell like fish. But there was something fishy in the cookies. Not like pungently fishy, but like an aftertaste of like fish grease.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Your 2 favorite snacks of the night were the dill potato chips and the cookie dough truffle.
Because I like speculoos, and that's what it's filled with.
My favorite 2 snacks of the night were the cookie dough truffle and the brown butter truffles. The chips that Liz is eating right now were also up there for me, as well as honorable mention. Karen kind of redeemed herself with the rum flavored cookies. So that was Scandinavia, and Liz is eating the rest of those chips, it seems. Unfortunately, we did have the thing with the jalapeno popcorn, which I would have loved to have given a full review on because it did sound very interesting. The flavor, even though I tried a few pieces and it was stale, were good. I would have liked to have tried it fresh. But this was a fun and interesting box, Liz.
I was going to say the jalapeno popcorn, though. We can get jalapeno popcorn here.
This is true.
I've had jalapeno popcorn before. I can't imagine it's any different or better. So I'm not like crying in
but
my.
it is the Scandinavian Pepper King Carl, right?
Is that what his name is?
I
Is
thought
it
so.
uh
Pepper
Klaus?
Pepper
Pepper
Klaus.
Klaus.
Oh, Pepper Klaus. I knew it
Klaus.
was a K. Yeah. So a very interesting box. Some very interesting flavors. I don't know. I continue to enjoy doing Universal Yums. I think that they come up with some fun flavor profiles for us to try. Um, the boxes are always very unique and different.
Well, we've done Scandinavian countries. I don't know that we've done Scandinavia as a whole, but I think we've done like individual Scandinavian countries.
Yeah, and I think that's why we had the familiarity with Karen Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I think we've done Denmark or
I think so,
Finland.
Yeah.
But this kind of like grouped them all together and tried to like give you a little bit. So like there were some familiar flavors, there were some familiar brands.
Mm-hmm.
But they were different versions that I think we've had. I feel like we've had these and the cookie butter
Maybe.
ones. But I liked them then and I like them now.
Right.
But yeah, I agree that you know, even if you get a like we've been, you know, doing this now for over a year, we're going to get repeat countries, but our hope is that either we have forgotten and you have forgotten or it's completely different. It's you know, more stuff
Or enough different, I would say.
that they like, you know, even if it's this like similar brands, because we have to think these countries don't have the the quantity of manufacturers that we do here.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just like, yeah, maybe it's a chip company we've heard of before, but it's a different flavor.
And I feel like, I mean, with what we're doing and exploring all these things, I feel like we sprinkle in enough like other things, like going to particular grocery stores and trying out their snacks.
Yeah.
Which I'm alluding to maybe like a future episode coming up, or going to different countries because we're not too far off from a different country where we can get some different snacks, or some of the travels that we go on and we maybe go to specialty grocery stores and hit up
Like regional.
Yeah.
Like maybe they're United States, but they're regional.
Right.
Like regional, like favorite, you know, people forget, especially globally, people forget that while the United States is one country, what people eat in Wisconsin is different than what people eat in New Mexico. There are some universal standards, I guess, you know, universal stuff that kind of bleeds over into all of the grocery stores because they're national chains. But when you get down to like local preferences or traditional local flavors, I mean, that can change from one state to the next or even within the same state. So it's fun to even explore our own country's diversity.
Right. And I mean, we definitely do have some plans coming up here in the coming months. Not only, you know, continuing on with Universal Yums, but some other places that we're visiting and stuff that we're going to get some from some stores. So stay tuned for all of that.
So that being said, I mean, you know, we've talked about, if you want to taste things with us, or if you have suggestions, or if you have something that's a locally different snack that is super popular and you want to suggest it to us, let us know. Reach out, suggest something, say, hey, in my neck of the woods, we have this snack that's in the grocery store, the local grocery store, but I haven't seen it anywhere else and we really love it. And I bet you guys would like it.
Yeah. So, I mean, like if we can order it, I'm more than happy to do that and try that out. Or if you, I mean, I'll be as bold as saying, if you want to send it to us, feel free, and just reach out to us and you can do that. But if it's something that we can order, I'll gladly order it, and so we can try it on a future episode. If you're a company and you want to send us anything, by all means,
we'd love to taste stuff,
and we'll pimp the hell out of your product.
Just don't make it be grapefruit or orange flavored, because then it's just him.
Yeah. And So like one of our favorite nut companies out in Cleveland.
That you can't remember the name of all of a sudden?
I was hoping that you would. You not have it?
Not in the top of my head. They were good though.
Yeah, I mean, and
We only said it 5,000 times in the episode.
I mean, if you're a company like that and you have stuff, that just feel free to reach out to us. Like for instance, the Hilson Nut Company of
Hilson.
Cleveland, Ohio, which I am going to actually order some stuff from because they had some other seasonings and stuff on some of the nuts that I want to try. They have like a Cajun seasoning, and I'm kind of curious to see how that is. So if you are a company like that, and if you want us to review your stuff, and then we'll tag you in it or whatever you want to do, reach out to us, man. We'll do
Just
it.
be aware that we're not. If we don't like it, we'll say so.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily a risk you're taking because we're pretty open-minded. I think we've just got a few things that we tend to, like you said, we're kind of synced up taste buds wise at this point.
Yeah,
for the most part. And there are certain things that we've kind of decided are hard no's for us as far as flavors, and that's just our palate and how we were raised, and again, the region we grew up in and the food we grew up eating. Our palates are not accustomed to a lot of strong fish flavors, like dried fish and like that flavor that I like into fish food, like what you would feed goldfish, like bonito flakes and things like that. Sour plum. That's always been kind of a meh for us.
Will we try it? Absolutely.
We'll try it, but we'll make faces.
Yes.
And
that's sometimes the fun of the episodes, I feel.
And then like talking about Finland, like our Scandinavia, something that's always been kind of a for us has been licorice, and particularly salted licorice.
Yeah.
It's got PTSD from that crap. And then there are some things that you're more adventurous in taste wise, like pickled meats and pickled eggs.
Yeah.
Or I'm a little bit more like, I don't like my protein.
Oh, you
pickled.
even talked about doing that.
I would like to have another pickle panel. Some little different items, different flavors. Some things have come up that I've found not necessarily locally, but near enough to be able to get them and be different. Kind of like look at brined versus vinegar pickles and things like that. So there's some fun things that are out there that I could order and try.
But stay tuned for all of that. And
lots to come.
Yeah, lots to come. We have only just begun.
We just scratched the surface.
Oh, yeah, you don't even know. It's endless.
It's out there.
Yeah, it's out there. And who knows? We might get back into other snack boxes. You never know. We got a little bored with some of them. But you never know.
You never know.
We might return to them. All right. Well, don't forget you can check us out on all of our social medias and all that stuff. Reach out to us if you have any interest in joining us on a panel to try snacks out or what have you, or if you want to send us anything.
Or have a suggestion.
Or you have any suggestions, by all means, reach out to us. But Facebook.com/Willing Snackrifice. I almost gave one of the other podcasts I do. That's the plug. But just check us out on our socials. And Liz, as always, this has been so much fun, and it's been real.
It's been fun.
It's been real fun. You thought I was going to screw that up.
You kind of did.
I didn't.
You did.
I totally
did.
Nah.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.